It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie Podcast. My name is Charlie Perry, and I'm here with Paula Santos Young, my co-host, and this is our weekly show. It's the Really Charlie Podcast, Fentanyl Facts and Stories, and we bring it to you every single week, Sunday afternoon, or 12 noon, and we just want to share some stories with you about fentanyl and the dangers of it, and also, the man, it's so important that we have things like this because so many people are misled and giving out the wrong facts. I just heard a story just a few days ago about someone saying that you couldn't lace marijuana with fentanyl, and just corrected them and said that's wrong. You can't be. I mean, you need to get updated with some facts. And I said, feel free to join us on our show every Sunday. So, how you doing, Paula?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just glad to see you, as always. And I'm gonna actually. What we're going to do is I'm going to make sure that our podcast is public on Facebook so everyone can share.
We have the big guy.
Hey, there he is. What's up, man? Nice to see you, as always.
Up, Charlie?
That's it, man. I mean, it's always a pleasure. Both of you, when I see you, put a smile to my face, only because you've always been special to me in my life. And since day one, you greeted me and took me in as a real close friend, and I appreciate both of you.
By the way, you're looking so handsome, clean shaven.
I you know what? I try to stay on top of it, and I'm going back to electric shaver. So I'm going to do that soon, and only because when I had that, I stayed on top of my face, So I'm going to go back to the old Charlie that used to work for the police force, and I had that electric razor everywhere. So I'm going to go back to that.
Charlie was just talking about someone telling him that they are debuting that marijuana can't be laced with fentanyl.
Yeah,
so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about legislation and what's not being done to so many parents like ourselves, because I think that's something that needs to be talked about. And Charlie, we had talked about this many times where nothing is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can rebuke something that they have no facts to support.
You got it, man. That's got it.
Hilarious.
It sure is.
You can go through and you can see throughout many states, police reports, busts of marijuana just laced with fentanyl.
Yes.
See, the problem is people don't want to be accountable, right? So they can keep going out. But you know what? My message to them could be your last toke.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not saying dispensaries, we keep them out of it because that's probably the safest way to go, or you grow yourself. But to sit here and just make an arbitrary statement because you want to keep doing what you do, we're not, hey, I don't tell you what to do. I just hope it's your last breath, like it was for our son, right? But I challenge anybody to come up to me and say that because we have enough facts, proof. The DEA is now talking about it was something that they tried to debunk as well. And it's out there, and it's a fact. This stuff is in everything, man. It's in everything.
Sure is. I'm glad that, and I have to pay attention to a case in New Bedford that was pretty. They caught someone, but it was more than once. And so I want to pay attention to that case.
3 times.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that I pay attention to that and make sure that that person goes away for a while.
you want me to send you the link upstairs?
No, I have to. Hey, Charlie, I'm going to bounce because I have some work to do for my company. I'm getting ready to go on travel. Man, so I will talk to you later, brother.
Love you, man. Thank
Love
you.
God bless.
But yeah, but I think what's happening, Charlie, and I think that this is the platform that this is why we're here. This is why we bring guests on. I'm hoping to have a couple of really great guests who are also former law enforcement officers like yourself, and can really talk about this. And I don't understand why people would think that this is not happening when, kind of like what Phil said. And when people tell me that, I respectfully tell them Google is free, and so is YouTube. Go on, because you will see case after case after case after case of not just law enforcement talking about it, but medical examiners who are talking about it. So when you have these many cases that are occurring, how can you legitimately sit there and say that's not true or this can't happen? Because then I want to hear how you don't think it's true and tell me what your experience is, because then I'm going to sit and you and I are going to tell them ours.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's like you said, it's just someone preaching but have no practice of or any experience going through anything with fentanyl, whether it be themselves or with family members, and they have no clue. I lost a friend last week, very dear friend, do, doing amazing things in her life, and then her life is gone now. So, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can kind of have a tribute to her a little bit, and
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
but I have to get the okay from the family first.
Of course. No,
So,
absolutely. And I think that this is one of the things that, and this is why this platform is so important, because as we bring people on, and one of the things I tell people when I tell them about this podcast, I said, listen, even if you don't agree with us, we want you on, because we want to hear your side. We want to hear why it is that you don't agree, or what it is that you have heard that you think is facts, when we're going to then sit and tell you what the facts truly are.
so true. Yes. The seeing all the everyone we kind of met on this podcast through you, and I see some of the things that they're doing, and from Anthony to
Ed Bish.
Ed
Yeah.
Bish, and the stamina of those two individuals, along with you and Phil, and is amazing. Excuse me, and how you stay motivated. Not made it motivated, but it's part of your life. It's part of your daily dose. Your daily um, uh, quest.
Yes.
And I just got to commend you guys for doing that.
Well, prior to us, there was others. And,
Yeah.
and I always make sure to mention many of the other parents who have started this journey, unfortunately, like us, before us. And this is something that, from folks who are former law enforcement, to judges, to doctors, to congresswomen here in our state, and congressmen who have, and just even across the United States, who have lost someone or know of someone that they've lost, and they're choosing to speak on this and to truly advocate. And again, then there's a lot of parents who unfortunately just can't do that, because grief is very unique to every single person. And even if someone has experienced child loss like I have, and other people out there have, that doesn't mean that they are able to help me in my grief, because each grief is individual to that person, and their journey is their journey. The parents can be there to support us and to say, we're here for you, but we have to walk this path alone. And it's a lonely path. And, there's been many studies done in reference to parents who lose a child, especially even moms and dads now, where parents are getting put in the hospital because of broken heart syndrome. It is
Hmm.
actually a fact.
Yeah.
It's true. It is a fact. It is happening. There is parents out there who have lost more than one child. I know many parents in this journey now that have not just lost one, but they've lost two, whether it was to fentanyl or whether it was to they lost their child to fentanyl, and then the sibling committed suicide because they couldn't handle the grief. So these are the things that are also happening that no one is hearing about. The extreme PTSD, anxiety, depression, anger, anguish, everything into one that you go through in this journey, that no one can truly, truly help you. I tell people all the time when I'm speaking and when I do speaking engagements, somebody said to me not too long ago, "Are you talking to someone? Are you going?" And I said,
Hmm.
"No." I said, "My therapy is my advocacy.
Nice.
That's my
Yeah.
therapy." And I think I could get a lot of parents on here with us who would kind of tell you the same thing, that their therapy is the advocacy that we're doing.
Yeah. It's and I never really looked at it like that, but that is therapy, and I'm glad you look at it like that, because the some people, it's almost like you self-diagnose yourself, and you end up
Yeah.
saying, all right, this is what I'm gonna do, this is my quest, or this is my solution to what I'm going through, and so that's pretty good, because
Yeah.
some people just can't do that.
Right. And there are a lot of good people out there who are counselors who have also suffered the loss of losing a child. So they are able to help many. And I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying, for me personally, this is what's helping me. This past Friday was Andrew's birthday. He would have been
Hmm.
35,
Yes.
and it was very difficult for me. And it was for today's the first day I'm actually able to talk and to be in front of people, because I couldn't. I had meetings that I had to tell people, "I'm sorry, I just can't be there. I can't." Because what happens is, again, it becomes a trigger. And I talked about this when I was interviewed by New Bedford Light, where I've been asked, "Well, it's going on 2 years." Well, what does that mean?
Hmm.
That means nothing to us parents. It doesn't matter if it's 2 years or 2 minutes. We are living each minute, each day. And that's how we're surviving. Because for us, it is survival. And again, there's a lot of parents out there who are not just going through this process, but now let's talk about, the legislation side. Let's talk about how there are so many cases that nothing is being done.
Hmm.
I cannot begin to tell you how many cases, parent after parent, state after state, nothing is being done to the person that gave them the fentanyl. Nothing. And now, to me, and maybe this is where you can come in and speak on this, to me as a normal, citizen, I'm thinking, well, if I know, or even if I don't know, something had fentanyl and I gave it to you and that
Yeah.
resulted in a person's death, that's murder.
Yeah. I
they're
agree.
they're gone. It's murder. End of discussion. Game over. Explanation mark. Done. And then if it was premeditated, well, now you have another layer. But yet we have state after state, prosecutor after prosecutor, who are telling folks they don't have enough. Well, maybe you, as a former law enforcement officer, can explain to us and to me how that's even possible. Because I don't understand it. And I've had people I had someone I spoke to not too long ago who was a former DA for Bristol County. And he said to me, he said, "Paula, you need to understand that, there has to be a rock solid case." Well, no, we don't need to understand, because our child is gone. You have the person that gave it to them. Why aren't they sitting in a jail cell until they give up names. So what is it that we're missing?
The you got to find some concrete ground as far as when the crime was committed and who was there. And most times it's the victim and the dealer. Um, so if it's just those two and one's gone, it really gets hard. In most cases, that's what it is. Um, unless there's some kind of conversations before the transaction or after the transaction that can lead to criminal prosecution. They have to have that probable cause. Um,
But
so
what if
that,
it's on a cell phone though? Because that's happening with a lot of parents where they have the information on a cell phone. And now I'll speak on with me. We have that on a cell phone.
yeah,
Who gave him the marijuana, where he met him, how much the marijuana cost, and this person is walking the streets free. And again, my story is one of hundreds across the United States with many parents.
yes, yeah. It's amazing, and I think what we have is our DA is he's doing a great job. Um, but I do I think we have to have more conversations and because he's probably getting guidance through some other people on the state, and so but those are more conversations that we have to have. And since I've been gone for 6 years, I don't know how things have changed, which they might. So I have to be very, very careful how I quote this, to quote the elements that are needed in this particular prosecution, which it doesn't change. It's really there's just a small change, but I just think there needs to be more prosecution and investigations. And what happens is someone like you, like mom and dad, what they do is they get together and they have their own private investigator do something. And then
Right.
what happens is that private investigator ends up doing a lot of work and concentrating just on that particular case. Whereas someone from the state or the county, um, the investigation is given someone that has many, many cases. And what they end up doing is getting overwhelmed or looking at or working at it with time constraints, which I particularly never did like in law enforcement. I think that you can work on one case at a time and work on the case that's the priority. Um, excuse me.
But I think what's happening though is that there's a shift coming because more and more parents are doing what I'm doing. And, we're getting angry because nothing is being done. And, we understand the process of how things should be working, but we also understand that our loved ones are gone. They're not coming back. But the
Yes.
person who gave it to them is walking the streets free, enjoying life. That's not the way it should be. There's a case in Louisiana right now that I just read about. Louisiana has the first murder conviction for fentanyl seller. Florida brothers arrested and 440,000 fentanyl bust. I mean, these are just things that are starting to finally come about. Just 3 hours ago, and I think I sent the article to you, where the Washington Examiner had an article in reference to there was enough fentanyl stopped at a border in the past year to kill every single American citizen. So at what point do we stop the excuses? Because that's what they are. They're excuses. Because and I think I'm speaking for many parents right now, and if they're listening, they're probably nodding their head. If you are in a car and you hit someone, that's the liquor homicide. You're going to jail. End of discussion. If you go to a bar and you get into a bar fight and you hit someone and that person dies, that is murder. You're going to jail. if if you go and I get a gun and I walk somewhere and I go shoot them, that, so it's the same thing. So
Yes.
what's happening is that they are continuing to make excuse after excuse after excuse. And again, the numbers are not going down. I mean, the DEA continues to say 300 a day. This is the DEA speaking about it. The DEA just had a op-ed out in reference to now it's 7 out of 10 pills that are now laced with fentanyl. Now, not only is it in marijuana, coke, meth, gummy bears, vape pens. I mean, they've turned it into Skittles. They've turned it into candy. So when is the blaring of the alarm going to be enough to where somebody with a backbone says, I'm done. We're going to prosecute this people. We're going to do this. We're going to classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And I don't care about the fallout because, again, we're losing more people to fentanyl poisoning than we did to COVID. And now COVID is coming back, as we all see. And guess what? We're all seeing it on the news. But you continue to hear nothing about fentanyl poisoning.
It's
So I'm starting to call people out. Absolutely, I'm starting to call people out. I'm calling them out because I need them to explain to me as a mother who lost my child, how am I supposed to understand this in my brain? Yes, my brain doesn't work anymore like it used to because of the grief, because I'm not the same person, but still help me to understand how you're not prosecuting people. And we continue to see the trauma and this is PTS for us. When us parents see another death, another poisoning that occurred by someone with fentanyl, that's a trigger for us.
yeah. There's one thing that what happens in the system, the court system, is just say a user is committing crimes.
Yep.
And what happens is what happens is during the process of the trial, when he's that person is, hey, I'm only committing these crimes because I have an addiction, or and things get softened, or they go in another direction, like medical treatment, so on and so forth. The difference in that is that's an individual doing something,
Right.
not hurting anybody other than maybe committing some crimes that kind of put someone, well, let me just skip that. It's an individual that's doing these things. The only thing is, I wish they stop doing this with dealers.
Mm-hmm.
A dealer is making a profit. A dealer is basically out there doing bad things.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to adjudication and sentencing, they need to be a little bit harder and not put in that little solution of, all right, maybe he needs treatment or she needs treatment. That's not the case when it comes to a dealer.
No, because a dealer, as you know, Charlie, they don't care.
No,
They care for them, the dealer is profit. It's the same thing that's happening right now with the cartel and how they've infiltrated every single city and town in the United States of America with sleeper cells. All they care about is profit. They don't care that they've killed 10 people in a week because they have thousands of others waiting for them. So at what point do we get, as a prosecutor, as a DA, as an attorney general, as the attorney for the state of Massachusetts, at what point do we get, or even any state, except for Virginia and Texas, because they've declared fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. But at what point do we get where we say, you are going to do jail time if there is a result death from this? End of discussion. Because what's happening is they're continuing to do what they do because there's no repercussion. There's no accountability. So if I'm a dealer and I'm selling my product in the street and I know nothing's happening to me or I'm getting a slap in the hand, what do you think that's going to do for me? That's going to put a fire in me to even go sell more.
Mm-hmm. So true.
And to even kill more folks that I don't care about. I mean, and this is where I'm a little confused at how things are working with the justice system, because, I constantly talk about weapon of mass destruction, declaring fentanyl, because it is a weapon of mass destruction. Fentanyl can be airborne. You can put fentanyl in a drone and it will kill people that it falls down on. I mean, the Mass Hazmat did a study on this back in 2000. I think it was 18 at Gillette Stadium. I have the video and I'll send it to you. And this is the thing that I don't understand, that people are not understanding. Like, this is real. This is real. This is here. They can put it in the water system. They can put it. I mean, it's not just, let's create pills and put it in a press machine and we don't care. We're not chemists. We put what we want and it's done. It's not just that anymore.
Yeah. I'm going to try to bring up some facts about Texas and and what you just talked about it, fentanyl being
At the border.
yeah. Let me see. Let's see. Go ahead, Paula. You can continue while I find it.
Oh, no. I was just saying that I think one of the biggest things is that as we continue to have this weekly and we bring more and more people on, people are listening to the stories. They're listening to the facts. They're seeing that this is real. But but my takeaway is, call your legislator, call your congressperson, call your senator, call your DA, wherever you are, and get on them and seriously be a pest, because that's the only way things are going to change. When we have Congress, many people in Congress who are saying, well, we can't declare fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction because, well, what do you mean you can't? We're not talking about the medical grade. We're talking about the synthetic grade that is hitting the streets, that is 100 times more potent than morphine and meth. So what is it that you don't understand? And this is the thing that I think that people don't understand, the real statistics of fentanyl and what it can do.
Exactly. I have a quote here. It says, in Washington, D.C., Representative Brad Wenstrup, which is a Republican from Ohio, and Tony
Yes.
Gonzalez, a Republican from Texas, and Andrew Garbarino,
Yep.
Garbarino, New York, introduced the Stop Our Scourge Act of 2023 to designate illicit fentanyl entering the United States from foreign countries as a weapon of mass destruction. This was as of May 25th, 2023.
Right. And if you see one of the quotes, that the comments that we just got, Ronnie, I know Ronnie. Ronnie is Marla's husband. Ronnie is a former chief of police in Ohio, and he can talk about what he's seeing. And yes, the vaping. I mean, and you talk about Congressman Winthrop. From what my understanding is, he did bring that forth, but it was shot down by others.
That's amazing, because if you, who are they protecting? You know what? And you got to follow the money. And right when something like that comes up, maybe they're worried about something like what Ed Bish is fighting. With Big Pharma and everything. Maybe that if you kind of label fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction,
Right.
they're protecting that Big Pharma. And the thing is well, you shouldn't be protecting them,
Right.
and there's things in the laws that show intent, and
Yes.
maybe there's
Yes.
so when that's all explained in the law, that the intent, maybe Big Pharma won't have that intent, right? Or maybe they will.
No, big pharma will always have that intent. And
Yeah, yeah, and if they do, then guess what? That law applies to them.
yes,
Uh,
well, it should, but we're all seeing what's going on in the Sackler, the lawsuit that's going on there. But if you read Ronnie's comment, vape has been used in Ohio where a whole school had to be treated by decomposition crew in the kids' shoes before they could go into the school because it took out a nurse, a resource officer, and a teacher.
hmm,
I
wow.
mean, how many have to die? And he's right. And again, a former chief of police who is also seeing this and is disgusted with what he's seeing. I personally met Ronnie in DC when we were there for the DEA conference.
Hmm,
And he is a huge supporter of this. And he believes that fentanyl needs to be classified as a weapon of mass destruction because of what he saw and what he continues to see in his county and his community. And again, what is it going to take? Because even with me speaking to as many people as I speak to on the legislation side, I get, well, yeah, we're going to try to put something forward, but right now we're working on this bill or we're working on that bill. Look, I get it. I get it. But when are you going to make this your priority?
true, true.
And
It's
of course, and then we have so many other things going on because now we have, unfortunately, what's happening right now in Israel, with Hamas. And that's just horrific what they're doing. And I know that I'm probably going to have backlash for this, but, you know, my take on that is Jesus himself is going to have to come and do to them, to Hamas, what happened to to the Egyptians
mhm.
back
It-
when he walked the earth, because there is no, absolutely, it is horrific, it is appalling, it is heart-wrenching, it and I don't understand as a person how other countries are not getting involved. And I don't understand how us, the United States of America, at the UN, when they had their emergency meeting, we voted against a ceasefire.
hmm,
And that's all knowledge. Go on Google and look it up.
mhm. They and that's when people above, not above us, but people of power, they form these alliances, and their alliances become unconditional. And at some point, they never look at the humanitarian part of it. Is this, and they're only looking at their alliances
Mm-hmm.
and not saying, well, hey, this is uh, this is horrific.
Yeah.
Um, how could you say in one breath what happened during World War II uh, is tragic, and then what's going on now isn't tragic?
Correct.
It's so it's kind of hypocritical. So I
And it's those that are voted in, because
yeah,
let's really talk about what the facts are here. It's the folks that are voted in to support what we've asked them to do. They wrote on a platform that they are so far off of the island on now that they're just not doing what they were voted in for. And one of the things I constantly say, and I caution many people, this is not, and I've said this before, and I just said this the other day. I actually personally met the former Sheriff Hutchins, at an event the other day, and I said to him, I said, again, I say this all the time, and I'll keep saying this. This is not a Republican, Democrat, or independent issue. This is a United States of America issue. When are we going to focus on that?
so true.
And he actually agreed with me. He said that I was 100% correct. He agreed with that statement and that comment.
Yeah, it's the I've been liking some of the things that have been going on with the New Bedford Light, and I think that more and more things that have to be broadcasted throughout this area needs to come from that source. That
Mhm.
only because I think that they're a little closer to the ground level folks like us,
Yep.
and we'll get the message out. And then even excuse me, even if they don't, we got this, Paula. We have this. We have,
Absolutely.
and so
And I think that one of the biggest things that people need to understand is with this platform, we are not here. I am not here to bash people. That's not what this is about. We are
true.
here to educate you. We are here to bring forth awareness and advocacy. We are here to, I can't even begin to tell you. I had a conversation with someone not too long ago, actually just this week, and he's someone that is in substance abuse. And he said to me on the phone the other day, I did not know that fentanyl is in marijuana.
Hmm.
And I kind of I had to take a moment and I said, "But you're working in substance abuse." And he goes, "I know, Paula, and it's kind of disheartening that I did not even know this." So
Hmm.
this is again, Charlie, what you and I have spoken about is getting the education out there and getting people to understand. I've had a lot of kickback from pretty big agencies here in the state of Massachusetts that deal with substance abuse. And they've said to me the same thing. Oh, well, fentanyl can't be in marijuana because when you light it up, it dissolves. Well, let's all go back to do history and I'll explain it in a way where everybody will understand. When you spray fentanyl, the liquid synthetic, onto the leaves of marijuana, and then you're wrapping it up, and then you spray it on the actual joint and give it to someone, that person does not have the taste, the smell, anything, because fentanyl does not have a taste or smell. It's kind of like carbon monoxide.
Hmm.
And you put it to your lips to light up, you automatically are now have fentanyl and you did not know.
Hmm.
And when you light it up, and then let's talk about cross contamination that's also happening. So, for folks to be saying that this can't be true, it blows my mind at how we have to go back and really educate you on science because they're obviously not paying attention.
Absolutely. It's so we got to keep them accountable. And not paying attention is is very very common, right? You know, it's very very common from residents to friends to colleagues to professionals. It's very very common. It's in,
Absolutely.
and so
And it's not really professionals because you won't get too many professionals that will push back. And if you do get some professionals who do push back, Charlie, it's because it's like you said, they're choosing to follow the narrative instead of the facts.
yeah.
And one of the things I've told people is I've said this so many times. I think it's pretty disheartening when I have to sit there and go back and forth with someone and say to them, here's my son's medical examiner report.
Hmm.
What are you going to fight me on now?
Yeah.
And then they shut up. But I mean, seriously, that's what you're asking a grieving parent to do? Like, what kind of mental state do you have? And what does that say about your character when you're doing that and having those kinds of conversations with someone? And I just saw Miss Gomes' message. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I, you know, it's been a very tough week, obviously, for sure. But I know my son is around me. and he's proud of what I'm doing. He knows his mother. And it doesn't matter how, I said to someone the other day, it doesn't matter how many doors are shut, there's just as many opening.
True. The Deb is a constant supporter of this podcast and anything that we're doing and things that I've done in the past. She comments absolutely.
Thank you.
Previous to that comment, we had Damon Amanda.
Yes, I saw Damon. Thank you
and,
also.
and yeah, thank you. And let's keep that. What I want to do is
sharing the message, just sharing, and getting people on here who want to talk about this, who you might, like we've said, Charlie, even if you don't agree with us, but you want to come on here and you want to talk to us, let's go.
Yeah.
Come and talk to us.
Everyone's kind of, appreciative of what we're doing. And, Damon did, he did this for us,
Yes.
This is amazing. And, so I just want to go back here. That's amazing graphics, right?
Yeah.
So, and, that artwork, and I just want to bring mention of it because he's done some amazing work for me here. Every logo that I possibly have, he's basically done something for me, and it's great work.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see, just want to put this post up here.
Oh, about the number. Yes, because you said we have a number now where people can call in.
Yeah. Where is it? There it is. All right. This is our number, and it says, "Do you have a fentanyl story?" And it says, "Call in at 508-492-2823." This number will be every week. It's a number that I have. It goes straight to my phone, and we will definitely listen to your stories. And as long as it's something that we can listen and learn from, but we want to get those stories out. So you could if you feel free to give us a call, and I would gladly, put the phone right here, have you on speaker, and everyone will hear you live here on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and also on Spotify.
Yes. And if you want to be a guest, please reach out to Charlie or I, because we'd love to have guests come on besides the folks that Charlie and I always have on. We would love to hear from others because we think it's very important to have the platform where we are hearing from each other and we're understanding the crisis that America is in right now with this.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you. Like I would what I'd like to see eventually is kind of like a group session with you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Even if it's local or through this stream and this platform, but I like to do that and have that where we have 4 or 5 people, moms, dads, just speaking out, because every day, probably every other day, I'm listening to YouTube videos from Texas, and the Texas documentaries and about fentanyl.
Yeah, he does a great job.
And those are so captivating. It usually gets me right from the start. And they're so captivating that here I am. I'm a sports person, right? And then all of a sudden I see something on my phone, and it happens to be one of those YouTube videos from Texas documentaries.
Yeah.
And I stop everything and I'm listening. So they are very, very captivating. And I like to do that for our folks that listen to us on a regular basis,
Well, and I think the other thing too is that I'm actually going to post something right now. So another thing that I would advise everyone to go
Excuse me.
is on YouTube, and I'm putting it in the chat. This is a awesome YouTube video that was put forth by someone who just chose to really put the word out about fentanyl. And I mean, it is captivating from the moment you watch it till the end. It's about 22 minutes. But if you really truly want to know what's happening and what's going on, that is the video to watch. Because what we do when we do our town hall events and speaking engagements, I actually play this for people to watch. And then we go into the guest speakers and everything else. And it's captivating. And if you have any question pertaining to fentanyl and what Charlie and I are talking about, please take a look at that video on YouTube. It's called Dead on Arrival. And it is, again, from the moment you start to the end. I mean, he did a phenomenal job on this, the person who did this.
All right, I'm going to see if I get it here. So I'm going to also share the link once it comes up. Is that the O'Connell Family Foundation?
No, it's just called Dead on Arrival on YouTube. Let me see if I can. Hold on.
Yeah, I think I get it.
And
I have it.
Okay.
I shared it in the comment section for everybody. So in the comment section, really Charlie on WNB1 Radio, and the link's right there. All right.
And I
Paul, I just want to. I'll get right back to you. I just want to announce something.
Yes.
I bring things to you, through the podcast, and it's all thanks to, through hard work on myself and Paula. But I would be not just if I don't mention the great work that WNB1 Radio is doing for me and all my different shows.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure that feel free to kind of add it to your app, WNB1 Radio, which is internet radio. It is based out of New Bedford, Massachusetts, Black and Latino owned, and it's at 262 Union Street, New Bedford, Mass. Feel free to add us to your app or any of your devices at nb1.com.
Yes.
That's nb1.com, and feel free to join us. I'm going to put something up real quick, but go ahead, Paula. I appreciate you.
I was just going to, I'm seeing if I can share my screen. See if it lets me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So this is a PowerPoint presentation that was given at one of the DEA summits. And this is what I want people to understand as they're seeing this. So this is where the cartel is right now. So by everyone seeing this, I want you to see the reach that they have currently in the United States. And then if we go to the second one, so here is how they flow it into the United States. So they start off with a precursor, the chemicals. Then they go into manufacturing. They commit violence. They smuggle the fentanyl. through the U.S. Postal Service, Snapchat, FedEx. You can, place an order and get this delivered to your home. They are laundering money. So again, if anyone is questioning how this is being done, here you go. This is the precursor in reference to the chemical flow. So it's how it's, where it starts and shipped from, where it's manufactured, and then how it's distributed.
The Paula, the video isn't showing.
No, it just slides.
Okay, it's not showing. We could try to share it again while those slides are visible on your screen.
They are. They're not on yours?
No. I see it here on the bottom, but it just goes right to your email.
Okay.
Maybe click on the second tab on your top, like wherever those videos are showing.
Yeah, let
and
me
then
go
share
back.
it there.
So you see the screen now, correct?
It still shows your.
It just shows this. So let me see if I can.
This is what I'm seeing. If you look.
Okay. Right. So hold on. So let me go back to this. Share screen. Share. Okay. See, now it's only, I don't know why it's not letting me share this. But we will have to get this on here somehow. Did you see anything at all?
No, I just seen your email and your links. If you share that to me, or actually what you can do is kind of copy and paste that video and then add it to the comment section where it's there and easy accessible. And then we could also air that next week also.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that because I think it's important for people to understand how this is truly working and how it's being infiltrated into the community and everywhere. It's a really good PowerPoint presentation that was put forth by the DEA. So it's factual. It's nothing that I came up with or you came up with. It's something where people need to truly understand the what's happening with this.
Yeah, it's amazing that that these things are not pushed by someone else other than you. Why isn't this out there? Why can't we see this on the news every day? Why can't we see this in the newspapers or on the social media blast? But it usually not out there until somebody like you or I or YouTube. YouTube is magnificent.
Yes.
I have no complaints about them because anything I'm possibly looking for, I can find. And I wish more of the big media outlets, news were like YouTube. I wish they were.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem is that even the big news stations, they don't want to talk about this. Because they'll do one or two stories, what I call the sprinkle effect, and then they'll go into other things and that's it. But yet, how here we are again hearing about COVID almost every day, but yet we're not hearing about fentanyl, and it's the number one killer in 18 to 45s all across the United States. So there's a serious problem happening.
So much, so true. There's excuse me. I have to go to the doctors. I'm being so stubborn. I just have this little cough that won't go away.
Yeah, you do need to go to the doctor, and you need to get checked for blood clots because remember that happened to me.
Yeah, so true.
And we definitely don't need anything happening to you. So I think next week what we'll do is I'll see if we can get some guests on, and and also I'll send that PowerPoint over to you, the presentation, so you can take a look at it. Because again, this platform we're going to be sharing information that's factual. We will never share something that is not. And I'm also looking to hopefully at some point have on a wonderful guest who's a chemical scientist, who is a dad who also lost his son. And he is someone that is amazing, and he will rebuke anyone that says what fentanyl supposedly is not in.
Amazing. All right, my friend.
All right. Well, it's
I'm going to make a couple of announcements
Yes.
And I appreciate you. I'll make these 2 announcements for WNB1 Radio. I'm just going to take you off the screen, Paula. But you
absolutely.
are an amazing woman and an amazing friend. Keep up the good work. And as we do, you need me, just a message away.
Thank you.
All right. Love you. Take care.
Love you. Get better.
All right. Thank you. All right. My amazing friend, she's doing amazing things, and I just I love her work, love her as a friend, and her and Phil, they're doing some great things. So I have an announcement from WNB1 Radio. WNB1 Radio is proud to announce that Timothy Hall will be our headliner comedian on Friday, November 17th. As our first Friday comedy show and after-hour party returns to New Bedford at the Whaling City Inn. The Whalers Inn on Hathaway Road, and we will definitely be doing our thing coming back to New Bedford. So feel free. You want to get tickets? We are going to honor the veterans, U.S. veterans. We will give you tickets at a discount price, and if you're struggling, let us know. We will definitely give you a ticket so you can come to the show free. Everybody likes free, but we're going to do this for the U.S. veterans. Also, second announcement, WNB1 Radio is excited to welcome the Frequency Live to our platform. We are excited for the first episode to be aired soon. Cheers to its host, B. Carter, formerly known as the Wind Down Podcast Show. We are looking forward to this great new concept. Please follow the Frequency Live. For any updates, please go to Berto Carter's page, or you can come to my page, and we will be sharing their next show. All right, everyone, as I always do, I end my show with my favorite song from Peter Lionel Walker. And also, I want to once again say thank you, Paula, for all your hard work. I appreciate you. And we will see you next Saturday at noontime here on the Really Charlie podcast with my co-host, Paula Santos Young. All right, let's see. And here we go. Good night, y'all. God bless. Love you.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass.